Right now at noon, a Portland firefighter arrested in a child luring investigation, just weeks after a different firefighter was arrested on similar charges. Plus, Governor Tina Kotek signs multiple behavioral health bills into law, including one targeting artificial intelligence chatbots. Then,
this is not the next COVID, but it is a serious infectious disease.
concerns about the spread of a cruise ship hantavirus outbreak are growing. Hear from an Oregon doctor currently aboard that ship about how the situation is being handled at sea. And later, OHSU researchers are exploring a new technology to study cancer treatments before they ever reach patients. And thank you for joining us. I'm Tim Gordon. Our top story here at noon, a Portland firefighter is now in jail after allegedly sending sexually explicit pictures to a child. He's the second Portland firefighter arrested for sex crimes against children in just the last few weeks. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us in studio. And Thomas, what more have you learned?
Yeah, well, Tim, Portland police have told us in this investigation that they've arrested 59-year-old Lieutenant Vincent Alvarez on Wednesday on charges of luring a minor and first-degree misconduct. Police say the Portland Fire and Rescue Lieutenant sent sexually explicit messages and photos to a child. The investigation began last March when the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office began looking into reports from the minor, who told authorities a man messaged her and sent inappropriate photos. Police say some messages go all the way back to October of 2024. Detectives found some messages were sent from a Northeast Portland fire station and connected them to Alvarez. A spokesperson for the Fire Bureau says they'll immediately place him on paid administrative leave and monitor the situation to determine if unpaid leave and an investigation is warranted. The president of the Portland Firefighters Union released a statement which says, in part, quote, "As a father and a longtime firefighter in our community, I find the alleged conduct described in this case is deeply troubling and has no place in our profession or our union." He adds the union is still legally obligated to ensure Lieutenant Alvarez receives due process. This case comes 2 weeks after Portland police arrested another Portland firefighter. 43-year-old Andrew Ligatich pleaded not guilty to charges of encouraging child sexual abuse. Police say the cases are unrelated. Tim?
Certainly disturbing. Thomas, thanks for your reporting. And a reminder, if you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, know that help is available 24/7. And one good resource for you, the National Sexual Assault Hotline. The number's on your screen right now. It's 800-656-4673. Moments ago, Governor Tina Kotek held a ceremony to sign 5 new behavioral health-related bills into law. Among them, Senate Bill 1546, which would require AI chatbots to refer users to a crisis hotline if they start talking about contemplating suicide. It comes after several reports of teen suicides parents say were encouraged by the technology. It also mandates that if the bots remind users It also mandates that bots remind the users they aren't speaking with a real human. John Adams is at the bill signing event and will have a more in-depth report coming up at 4 o'clock. And turning to your weather headlines now with our live look from our Wells Fargo Sky Cam, looking out over downtown. Hey, the blue sky's already out and it's looking pretty good. Here's Rod Hill to tell us, oh, Chris McGinnis is there. Well, I saw Rod earlier.
Well, you know, after I blew the forecast the last couple of days, I had to go in the penalty box for a little bit.
All right, good to see you.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, the sun that we were hoping to see yesterday afternoon, that I thought we would see at least late in the day, finally making an appearance here. Marine cloud duct, the little bit of cloud that we had this morning has already burned off here. So pretty much area-wide, we're looking good up and down the I-5 corridor, with the exception of like Lynn County and down towards Lane County. We still have a little bit of cloud cover in the southern Willamette Valley, but outside of that, most of the region enjoying some glorious May sunshine. Case in point, up on the mountain over Mount Hood, you can see it's clear there. Down to the south, you've got a nice clear look of Mount Jefferson, and of course no clouds in the Cascades this morning. A little bit of cloud cover that we had has already burned off, as is the case at the beach. There's the live look from Lincoln City. 62 and sunny there. It's breezy out in the East Gorge. Again, no wind advisory today, but the west winds are whipping again, gusting to 30 out near the Dalles, where the current temperature is 68. And last but not least, from Vancouver, again, a beautiful day over the Interstate Bridge. Flirting with 60 already, and we're going to warm up from there. Here's the forecast for the remainder of the afternoon. Mid-60s by mid-afternoon. I've got us hitting 70, maybe a degree better than that, with sunset now 8:23. So we should enjoy plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Clouds are back tomorrow. cool it down a little bit. We warm it up a little bit Saturday, cool it down Sunday, warm it back up. You get the idea. The 7-day forecast does a little bit of up and down, but mostly rain-free, and we'll look at that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, we will see you then. In your national headlines this afternoon, the U.S. and Iran appear to be inching closer to a limited, temporary agreement to end the war. Iran is currently considering a 14-point proposal from the U.S. The proposal would stop the fighting, but leaves the most contentious issues, like Iran's nuclear program, unresolved for the time being. It comes as both sides continue to exchange strikes. U.S. Central Command says an American jet fired on an Iranian boat they accuse of attempting to violate the U.S. blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Iran announced it shot down an American drone, though the Pentagon has not yet confirmed that information. A trade group representing multiple wind energy projects is accusing the Pentagon of delaying more than 160 developments. The American Clean Power Association says some projects have been stuck in review for more than 6 months, well beyond a typical review process. The Pentagon says the process is complex and time-consuming to ensure turbines don't interfere with military readiness. And Google is betting on artificial intelligence to help it dominate the health space, rebranding its Fitbit app to Google Health starting May 19th. The update puts its Gemini AI model front and center through a health coach that can track fitness data and also answer health questions through a chatbot. Right now, Google trails Apple and Samsung in the wearable tech market. The company hopes its ability to read data from non-Google devices can lure those users without them having to ditch their hardware. Well, Oregon Congresswoman Janelle Bynum is demanding the Secretary of State and CDC help 17 Americans on board a cruise ship that's dealing with a hantavirus outbreak. One of those on board is an oncologist from Bend. We just spoke with Dr. Stephen Kornfeld. He told us this was supposed to be a dream trip, but then people started getting sick. Dr. Kornfeld stepped in to help when he found out the onboard doctor was sick. He's treated 3 people so far. 1 died and 2 were airlifted off that ship.
Within 2-3 days, it kind of went from a few people not feeling well to the reality that this has to be a very unusual circumstance with potentially an infectious form of hantavirus or hantavirus that can go from person to person. And certainly not part of my training or anybody I know's training.
Dr. Kornfeld says precautions are being treated like COVID, and he praised the ship and its crew. Congresswoman Bynum wants the U.S. government to come up with a plan to make sure Kornfeld and the rest of the Americans return home safe. Meanwhile, health officials in 3 U.S. states are monitoring residents who were previously aboard that cruise ship as concerns grow over the virus spreading further. It comes as the ship is continuing its course to Canary Islands. NBC's Ralph Sanchez has more.
The cruise ship at the center of the hantavirus outbreak is back on the move, heading towards the Canary Islands, sparking a global race to stop the virus spreading further, with contact tracing now underway in multiple countries. People who left the ship are being treated for the disease in Switzerland, South Africa, and the Netherlands. Dutch authorities also announcing this morning that a flight attendant has been admitted to the hospital with possible symptoms. She was on the same flight as one of the cruise passengers with hantavirus. That patient was removed from the plane before takeoff and later died, according to Dutch media.
This is not the next COVID, but it is a serious infectious disease.
While in the U.S., authorities in Georgia, Arizona, and California confirm they're monitoring residents who were on board the ship and have since returned home, so far saying they are not showing symptoms of the virus. 3 people were evacuated from the luxury cruise ship yesterday, flown by special air ambulances from Cape Verde, and 3 passengers have died so far. This was the moment the captain announced the first death back on April 12th.
This is my sad duty to inform you that one of our passengers sadly passed away last night.
Going on to say the ship was safe. The cruise company responding, at the time of the announcement, no evidence of a virus or contagion was present on the vessel. But the passenger who shot the video tells us something seemed off.
It turns out we were not well informed.
Investigators now hunting for the source of the outbreak. The leading theory, A Dutch couple on the ship, who later died, contracted the virus while on a bird-watching trip in Argentina's southernmost city. Two Argentine officials telling the Associated Press they visited this landfill where they may have been exposed to rodents, catching the rare Andes strain of the virus, which can be transmitted from human to human, causing the outbreak on the ship and triggering alarm worldwide.
Ralph Sanchez reporting there. And back here in Portland, the city's Water Bureau is activating its groundwater system. That's after discovering a leak in one of the supply lines that carries water from the Bull Run watershed to Portland. Officials say the Columbia South Shore well field will supplement the Bull Run supply while crews safely take the damaged water main offline for repairs. The Bureau says no actions needed from the public and the community's drinking water remains safe to drink.